Welcome everyone, my name is Brendan Snyder. Thank you for joining me. Please help support my channel by clicking the subscribe button, and as an added bonus, you'll be able to stay up to date on all that's happening in the world of music. Like today, we're going to take a look at the new Metallica S&M2 concert. I'm going to discuss both the movie and soundtrack of it. This was a celebration of the 20th anniversary of the original S&M2, this one coming out in 1999. As we all know that the band formed in 1981, but fast forward 10 years to 1991, with the release of the Black Album, and the band is arguably the biggest band in the world at that point. And in 1999, they did something that no other metal band had done at the time. They played a live concert with the San Francisco Symphony with Michael Kamen conducting it. Unfortunately, in 2003, Michael Kamen died, so he's not part of S&M2. But the idea to combine the metal and classical side of things came from original bassist Cliff Burton, and it worked tremendously well, actually making Metallica a bigger band in a way. There were two new compositions on the original S&M, No Leaf Clover and Human. Both of these were written specifically for orchestra or with the orchestra, so they weren't band songs that were then adapted. These were written for the event, making them quite special and unique. The album itself was certified 6 times platinum, and what that actually is 3 million in sales, because it is a double album and they count it per album. So when it's 6 million, it's 1 per each of those discs. So 3 million in sales, which is still a tremendous feat to accomplish. Which brings us to this release that we're going to take a look at, the 20th anniversary concert of the original event. And according to Lars, in the liner notes, it took 6 months to put together. You know, just watch the credits at the end of the movie and you'll see how many people it actually took to make this thing happen. And it is again directed by Wayne Isham, who directed the original S&M concert. And first off, there's a lot of energy. Everyone genuinely seems to be having a really good time. In particular, James, with all his smiles and fist bumps to the orchestra members while he's playing. I don't know about the theatrical version. I didn't get to see it. This one here is supposed to be a new edit of the theatrical version. But there's split screen segments within this, and I think it kind of kills the feel of this, certainly from it being a concert film. And also the cameraman never seems to stay on the solos for very long, and a lot of times he's actually behind them facing their backs, which seems a little odd to me. One thing I do like, though, is all the different color monster guitars that Kirk Hammett is playing throughout. I mean, they're so bright and stand out so much. I actually think these guitars should have gotten a credit at the end of the film when the credits roll. I do love the one thing in this that I noticed, though, is that they show a lot of very pretty girls rocking out to this. I don't know if they were trying to look at the universal appeal of Metallica here, crossing gender lines, but they certainly show more pretty girls in this rocking out than they do the guys. Another thing here, the break between the black and white opening segment of No Leaf Clover to the point where it kicks in and hits color, I think was a nice touch. And with all that said, the movie itself is definitely more interesting to me than just the standalone music, meaning the soundtrack aspect of it. For me, things don't get interesting on here, though, until the song The Day That Never Comes is performed, which is one of the tracks that was not performed on the original S&M. Now, 7 out of the 20 tracks on here are newly performed with orchestra. However, one of these, Anesthesia Pulling Teeth, is not played by the band. It's actually orchestra only, although Lars does join in towards the tail end of it. So in my opinion, there's really only 6 newly performed tracks by the band here. One of the best new tracks performed is Moth into the Flame, which is from Hardwired. The orchestra and band here really connect, in my opinion, and the score really complements the music. It accentuates the best elements of the song itself without overtaking it. And one of the older tracks that's performed here that I think comes across really well is the Outlaw Torn. The fills by the orchestra really take it to a new level, and the song itself is given a much fresher feel with the orchestra elevating it. Now, the second half of the show, with Lars's introduction and the classical history lesson, unfortunately, I think breaks the flow of the show. I am glad that it happens at the second half, but while it works fine in the movie, I don't think it needed to be part of the musical soundtrack. I think they could have cut or edited those first 5 minutes of all the talking out of it. And I actually think that something that would have been nice is they had replaced the Ecstasy of Gold, the traditional Metallica classical intro that they do at all of their shows. They could have replaced with these new classical pieces that they're doing in the middle of it. I think that would have made for a much more interesting, newer, take on things, because this album opening with the Ecstasy of Gold, and the second track on it, these are the same two tracks that open the original S&M, and so it's a little bit repeating of things here. These new non-Metallica compositions, these two classical pieces that are in the middle of it, I don't consider new tracks. It was promoted as these new tracks, but they're definitely not like No Leaf Clover and Human off of the original S&M. I also feel there was a missed opportunity to have performed all three Unforgiven songs as one suite, as one long orchestrated track. Still, the highlight might be that they chose to perform the Unforgiven 3 instead of one of the other versions of the song. This one, in my opinion, works really well with the orchestra. Just the intro alone on this is really quite stunning. The thing, though, is it's sort of strange to see James without his guitar, no band backing him except orchestra, but you do get to see what James would be like if he was a frontman only without playing guitar that he normally does, where he now uses his hands to gesture the song. But I'm not sure about this jazzy trumpets thing that's happening in the middle of the section. The acoustic rendition of All Within My Hands was a nice addition and an experiment as well. But who's this other guy that's singing off to the side of James? I'm not sure why that wasn't one of the other band members performing the secondary vocal aspect of it. But we do have this other guy who's not even introduced. And the movie album itself does close with enough classic tracks to really bring the energy back up during the performance, certainly ending everything on a high note. But I'd have to give most of the credit here to the fans who really elevate the performance with their energy throughout. So let's take a look at this here. Front cover of this, I think, is done particularly well with Metallica destroying the classical instrument here. And then there's the backside with all the track listing. And as we open it up, we get some real interesting interior aspects of this thing. Let me pop these discs out to show you what's happening on the underside of these. We get to see the band Lars performing, and a pretty cool sort of quad fold feeling there. And let me pull up the booklet here. The booklet's done really well. I often talk a lot about booklets and how they're done. This white on white is actually really interesting, as opposed to, say, black on black that we might expect from Metallica. Some really great photos, and if you can see, there's an overlay. The images are in glossy, but then there's these other things that are overlaid on it that are in a matte finish, and so you get this different finish quality that you can see the way that it reflects. And then there's liner notes from the original, or from the conductor and the director of the orchestra, but we get these really great live shots throughout. They're not wasting any space on lyrics or anything. But like I said, you do get some insight into the performance. Lars also gives you his take about what was going on in the moments right before as he's walking out, and the intensity of all of this, which is pretty cool. And it certainly adds something to hear all of that and read that, while you're listening to this. But for me, it's the all the live shots that are within this that are really cool. And then in the back of this, you do get your, your liner notes and that sort of stuff. But I do like this page where they tell you where all of the songs come from for those people who are into this that are not big, huge fans of the band, that don't know that and they like a particular track. They can go and check those out. And then I also wanted to show you guys this. I ordered it off of the website. It was something that was being sold at the show, and it's a coin, and I'll take it out of this little Metallica bag that it comes in and show it to you guys. On the one side we get the Jump in the Fire guy, and then on the back side you get the S&M2 logo on it. And there's a whole other bunch of merchandise and stuff as well. And if you like that acoustic rendition of All Within My Hands, they are selling this live show off the Metallica page. Make sure you get the November 3rd, 2018 All Within My Hands Helping concert version. The entire show is acoustic, and I'm kind of surprised that Metallica has never released an all acoustic album. I mean, officially released. This is off their website, but like this S&M2 concert, I think that's a really unique thing, certainly for a metal band like Metallica, that could break some new ground the same way that the orchestra version of S&M did back in 1999. So bottom line, unfortunately, I think with 20 years on, the novelty of playing with an orchestra has worn off. So while the album is a great document to the celebration, the 20th anniversary of the concert of S&M2, it doesn't really offer much new. There's no new compositions on this thing, and with only 6 newly performed tracks with the band, it doesn't break much new ground. I also don't know that this will have nearly the amount of success that the original did. But what it does do is the band performing with a full live concert in the round in an arena setting with 17,000 fans, I do think is one of the highlights to this and one of the differences to this. And it does, propel this to more of a celebration and a fun event, which is what I think this was meant to be overall. And I think if you look at this as a document to that event and not a new thing, then certainly it is what it is, and you can enjoy it for just that. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you did, please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts about this performance. Let me know if you have a favorite track or things you think that went well or didn't go well in this, and I hope everyone has a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.